Hello everyone and welcome to API Test Hub. Let's learn how you can actually test an API. So we will use API test tool Postman for testing products API. So if you're not aware about this products API, you can go and check this playlist on my channel and you can get familiar with the products API which we created earlier. So we will be doing this testing in different chapters. So in this whole series, there will be different chapters in which you will know the in and out of the Postman and the different testing criteria you do while doing an API testing. So we will cover about the essentials of Postman, the positive and negative test cases, what will be your approach to doing that, and how you can update your test cases while doing the API testing, how you can report and you can find the bugs, what will be the tool you can use to report and maintain your bugs, and how you can automate your test cases using Postman, the validations, how you can do using the Postman, and how you can assert different things in your how you can assert the responses in the Postman in detail. We will learn in this series. We will learn about the importing and exporting of the collection, and also how you can do the load runner using the Postman. And also in the end we will learn like how you can integrate your Postman collection with CI/CD pipeline using Newman. So this whole series will be packed with all in and outs you have to know while doing an API testing. So I can bet you that after doing these all chapters, you can be proficient in doing the API testing. So let's begin. So in the first chapter, we will be testing the positive cases for the endpoint post products. So this is the endpoint we used for creating the products. So in this particular video, we will be doing the positive test cases testing for that in detail. So let's begin with that. So before moving to actual testing, I want you to clear some of the Postman terms which you should know before starting using the Postman, that is collection, folder and endpoints. Let's learn by demonstrating it in detail. So what are these terms? Let's learn them. Let's understand the most common terms of Postman. So this is my Postman, and if you want to know about how to download this Postman and how to set up it, you can always go and check my previous uploaded video in API testing series. I'll post the link in the description box as well. You can watch from there. So let's understand the most common terms. So the very first term is the collections. So what is Postman collection? Let's understand that. So Postman collection is a collection of all the endpoints in an API at one place. So it acts as a folder which consists of all the endpoints of an API. So let's see how it looks. So you can see it here. I have multiple Postman collections like API security, API collection, and products. So if I go inside these, you can see all the endpoints here, right? So the collection is the collection of all the endpoints. So that is my Postman collection. So this is really helpful. You can share these collection with anybody. So if you share it, they can import those collection and they can use those collections. So the Postman provides you this feature to collect your all the endpoints at one place, which is called the collection of your endpoints or an API. So that is a collection. Next term is the folders. So what are the folders? Let's understand those. So if I have this collection, right? So but I want to segregate my endpoints in different categories. So for example, we are going to test our products API, right? So we have different positive scenarios and negative scenarios. So what I will gonna do is I will segregate them in different folders. So whenever I'm back, I can check my all negative cases in one place and the positive cases in the other one. So what I can do is I can go here and I can always add a new folder. So once I add a folder, I can rename it. So maybe I can name it as positive scenarios or positive whatever you want, positive scenarios, and I can move my any request by just dragging it to this folder. So you can see it here, it will be my folder created. So in my collection I can have multiple folders, so there you can have a one folder for each request as well. So it is upon you how you want to organize your API endpoints. So this is the folders you can make. The next thing is the endpoint. So endpoint is the one which you are actually going to test. So these endpoint information, we know that we can get it from the Swagger. So this is the endpoint which you can put in your folder and inside your collection. So this is the third term you will hear me saying again and again. So I want you to clear that. Next will be the environments. So what are these environments? So here we will store our all the variables. So if I will be using any variable, I will be having that in the environment. So it is a kind of a place where we will be storing our variables, different variables we will be using in our collection. In our endpoints, we will store everything in our environments. So we will be having one environment file and one collections file for our API testing of products. So these were the main terms I want you to understand. Now let's start our actual testing of products API. Let's start the actual testing of our products API. So to begin with, we will create our own collection. So in this plus sign, you can click here and create your own collection. So we will name it as products API testing. So this will be our collection and we will do whole testing in this particular collection. And inside this, I will create different folders for all the endpoints. So let's create one folder for create products. So inside this, I'll be having two kinds of scenarios, positive and negative scenarios. So let's create two more folders inside this folder that will be used as to differentiate our different types of test. So here I will use it for positive scenarios, all of my positive scenarios I'm testing, and the other one I'll create for negative scenarios. So I'll name it as negative scenarios. So you can easily differentiate that all my positive cases are in this folder and negative cases are in this folder. So let's create our first request. So inside this, I can add a new request and I'll do it as it is positive case, right? So I'll create it as 201 product created successfully. So this is my first test case. You can name it with the test case ID as well. So I can go back to my Swagger to get the information of my endpoint. So what kind of information I can use is what is the domain, what is the method, and what is the URI I have to use. So it's a post and my local host is 8081 and this is my endpoint. So let's create our request. So you can come here and instead of get, you need a post request, and here what you need is you need a URI. Your domain will be to 8081 localhost and URI is API products add. So you have already seen that I have created the test cases for all the endpoints, right? So you can see it here. This is Confluence. My very first test cases for the positive valid product details. I will verify that when I'm giving whole information correctly, then my product should be created and I should get 201 response. Once I get it, I will mark my status as success or I can say it as passed. So this is the body I need to use. You can have the information from here as well and from the Swagger also. Let's see what all other things I need to pass to make it working. Now let's click here and we can see it that two mandatory headers I need to pass. One is XAPI key and the other one is X client ID. So let's copy these. You can directly copy from here and you can just go to the headers and in the key you can put your header value and you can see that the value can be anything. So they haven't provided any value, so we can use any value. So if you have to check the specific value, they should mention here. So as of now there is no mentioning of anything. You can give anything. So test case 101, I'll give it like this. So they haven't given anything, so I'll doing this. Okay, so this will be the headers. Now you can see it here, this log sign here, right? So if I click here, I can see that there is a basic auth I need to provide, because if I don't provide this, I'll get one kind of a error. So that will be my negative case. I'll cover that case in the separate video, but as of now just see how it works with everything there, right? So it requires authorization, so I need to give authorization as basic auth. So if you see username and password, so this is the username and password we have set for this particular application. So it can be anything for like any application, it can be different. So as of now we have set this one. So this is the other thing. The next thing is your request body. So in the request body, you can see these are the parameters we need to give. One more thing, you can see this this request body is required. And if you go to the schema, right, you can see that what all attributes are mandatory. So you can see that name, price, and quantity is mandatory. If you don't pass it, you might get an error, so I need to pass it always. And you can see description is not mandatory, so if I don't pass the description, my test case should pass. So let's move to my test cases. I have created two successful test cases. Like if I don't pass the mandatory feed description, it should also pass at that time, and if I give everything, it should pass at that time as well. So two successful cases we have covered. So let's quickly do that. Now you can have this body from here also. Let's copy this body from here, and or you can have this information. Let's get my test case description so that everything is aligned. I can go back and always check that what I have used. So in the request body, what you have to do is go to the body, and here you can go to this raw option, and in the raw you have to select JSON because it's a JSON kind of request body. And you can give your request body here. So you can see it's not aligned properly, right? So you can go to this beautify and beautify your body. So now you can see, right, it's very beautiful. So now let's quickly, let's save this first. So now you can see that in my positive scenarios, my first positive scenario is 201 products created successfully, and inside the headers I have given the mandatory headers as well. And in the body I can see that I have given both the body, like everything what is required, and everything seems perfect. Now let's send the request. Let's test our first test case. So you just need to click the send button. So just click send here, and you will see your results in the bottom window. So we can see it here, it's 201 created successfully, and you can see whatever I have passed the information, it's being sent back from the server, like it's being created. So you can see and verify there is an ID also generated for my product. So I can always see that my ID is this one for my product which I have added. So if I go back to my test case, my test case was it should give me 201 created product with ID. So I can see both the things. So what I can do is I can mark it as passed. So you can make it as bold or whatever you want. You can give color as well to whichever color you want to give. So let me give it a green, so that it can be seen it like this, it passed. So next one is without the description. So we saw in the Swagger that this description was not mandatory, so I can skip this description as well, right? So let's comment this out. So what it will do, I'm not passing my description here, right? So what I can do is I'm not passing the description. Let's run this as it is. So let's see if it is creating my like the same product again or not with the same information. Or I can, what I can do is I can change the one more thing I can do is I can duplicate it. So you can duplicate your request as well. Let's make a duplicate request of this. So I can name it as same as my test case. So this is TC202. So let's name it as TC202. And what I need to do is inside the body, I need to just comment my description. So let's see what happens this case. So you can see it here. If I give it as an iPhone, whatever information I have given, my description is null. So it is also working fine with the same response code 201. So let's make it pass as well. So you can see it here. I'm updating my information here also so that my test cases are updating side by side. And let's save this, and we can rename our first test case to TC201 so that I can always come back here and I can check what changes I have done while doing the testing, what was the main things I have placed while doing the testing. So whenever I'm checking my test case, I can come back to my collection and always go back to that particular test case. So here, this is the way you can organize your test cases. So this was about the positive scenarios. So in the next video, we will be covering the negative scenarios for our create API. So you have to watch all the scenarios and all the videos in detail. So stay tuned and keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much.